Where do I even start? This is the number one question that prevents people from building their dream business. It's a dead-end question that I professed hundreds of times over a 10-year period that I was messing around, half-assing, toe-dipping in building this business that produces this podcast that you love so much. You obviously don't know where to start, or you would have started. The emotion behind this question is what you want feels so far away from where you're currently at, and to go from point A to point Z feels mind-blowingly overwhelming. And I know what you then do. You then start scrolling, seeing other people, other business owners in your town, people who seem to have a version of what you want, and you start taking their inventory. Well, they have this, and they are more attractive, they're younger, they're more tech savvy, they have this whole support system. Oh my God, they're so good at graphics. Oh, they've got this certain look, they're doing it this certain way, they know how to use TikTok, and we stack this entire deck of why it isn't possible for us. And then we get buried under it, and then we're in paralysis. And before you know it, 1 year goes by, 3 years go by, 7 years. And in my case, 10 years, which is why I talk about this kind of stuff to you right in your ear, because I don't want it to be 10 years for you. I wish there was a me that I could relate to, that understood my brain and my fear and my anxiety and my nervousness and my need for certainty and not having support. I want you to hear the facts so that we can share them with the negative committee in your brain. 4.5 years ago, I started ProjectME with Tiffany Carter, the podcast and the business coaching brand, with 0 followers, 0 email lists, 0 podcast listeners, 0 friends in the online space, 0 shout outs or referrals from anyone who's already been established, 0 experience in building an online personal brand. But what I did have is I got to a point where I believed it was possible for me, and I believed in myself enough where it was worth giving it a shot. And that's all you need to get started. If you're tired of hearing the same old basic mindset and motivational fluff talk, you've come to the right show. Welcome to ProjectME with Tiffany Carter, the podcast, where we dish on everything from managing that crazy brain of yours to manifesting abundance to my straightforward, actionable steps that will make you major money online. Now, I'm not your typical multimillionaire entrepreneur. It takes a small village to keep my anxiety and depression in check. I'm inherently disorganized with an intense obsession with office supplies. Your girl here is a digital marketing content expert who's generated over $200 million in sales. I promise by tuning in twice a week, you will get a much needed refreshing dose of truth, clarity, and cash-making advice. Now let's get to it. How in the hell is it already February? What happened in January? It was just New Year's. It was just Christmas. And then what happens? And I guarantee you've already gone through this when you realized it's February now. Oh my God, I'm not where I want to be. There's not enough of a dent. You're either not making strong enough, focused enough moves to get what you want in your business, to get that cash flowing, to get everything going and glowing, or you're scrambling, trying to do all the things in a panic, almost like overproductivity, and you're getting more and more frustrated because you're not really seeing progress. You're like, universe, throw me a bone. You're in that spot right now for a reason. It's to give you that deep, uncomfortable feeling, that icky, dirty diaper spot, so that it propels you, because pain propels you, into making bigger moves, because you are resisting getting higher level help. You're resisting leaning in and learning from someone who's already done it, who has it mapped out, where if you follow my techniques, my guidance, my systems that I've simplified and I've refined over and over again for 15 years, there's no way that you're not going to have success. It's impossible unless you sabotage yourself. but you've been resisting that. I don't know. I don't know if I want to spend the money. I could continue trying to do this. I don't know where to start first. I don't know, I don't know what I'm doing wrong. Well, if you're in a lot of questioning and uncertainty and aren't sure, your next move is to work with someone to give you that uncertainty and clarity on what to start focusing on and what to let go of so that you can move the needle and get fresh cash in your business. Because if you're not getting fresh cash in your business, you don't have a business. You have a jobby, a time and energy sucking hobby. And I know you don't want that for yourself, and it doesn't feel good because I remember what that felt like. There are 2 ways to work with me right now. My most exclusive way to work with me is privately. And there are only 2 of those spots left. So my winter applications are closing soon. You can swipe up and do not apply unless you're like, I am serious about investing in my business. This is the highest level way. I do have other ways for you to access me. But if you want my eyes personally dedicated with you one-on-one, customized and focused on growing your business and getting that cash so you can get those strong moves and have things happen faster, more efficiently, and with ease, you got to pay for it, just like anywhere else in life, just as I was coach you. The other option right now is my ProjectME Posse business coaching membership and support community. No, there's no way you can't make that work in your budget. It's $3.33 a day, weekly live trainings from me and other guest experts, and it's designed to take you from $0 to $15,000 a month as long as you show up, do the trainings, do the work, and collaborate and talk and engage with all the incredible other members. And that link with all the details, testimonials, all that stuff, that is in the show notes, and you can swipe up and get to that as well. What up, my people, my posse, my fellow crazies? I'm your host, Tiffany Carter, and let's get down to business on building a successful personal brand from scratch. And even if you already have started your personal brand, you're several years in, you're gonna learn something from this episode. I love hearing when fellow successful entrepreneurs share what they would have done differently or how they started from scratch, because there's always something I could go, ooh, I could either help teach that to some of my clients. That was a good nugget, or it's something that I could actually go and implement now and see a great ROI in my business. I was in one of my support groups that I'm in, which this is why I have my ProjectME Posse business coaching membership, because it's also an entrepreneurial support group. So I'm in another support group basically for overthinking, anxious people who've experienced a lot of trauma. And someone shared a quote: comparing yourself to others, punishing yourself for your past decisions, and focusing on things you can't change are forms of self-betrayal. And I was like, self-betrayal? And I wrote in my group, I'm reading you the exact thread, would love more explanation on why self-betrayal. I can see self-abandonment, but I'm not understanding the betrayal part. And this lovely fellow member in the group, which is why I love being part of group things like this, her name's Mina, she did a Google search. And what she found is this: when we're self-betraying, we don't love and accept ourselves for who we are today. Ooh. And I'm like, that makes so much sense, because by us comparing, I'm not far enough along. I should have started. I don't look like that. I'm not like that. I haven't had that press. I don't have those followers. I've not written all those books. I've not been on TV like Tiffany. When we're in that, what we're really saying to ourselves over and over and over again is that I don't accept who I am, and I don't love who I am as exactly where I'm at today, and that I'm also not enough to have what I want. I really felt that was important to start the show with today, because in order for you to have a successful personal brand, the thing you need the most of is possibility, and the second thing is patience. You need to keep reminding yourself and surround yourself with coaches, support groups, people, crystals, sage, coffees, whatever it is, to remind you that this is possible for you. This is available for you now, and it's happening. Not it's going to happen. It is happening. It's unfolding. It's already there. And we've got to keep reminding ourselves that's part of being in that abundance zone. That's why I give you guys and create those incredible abundance walks for free. That link's in the show notes. Share it with anyone that you love. And if you've been resisting doing those, I want you to ask yourself why. Why am I resisting doing things that put me back into the abundance zone, that put me back into the realm and the energy of possibility, that also put me back and fill my patience cup? What happens to me too. We decide we want to do something. We decide we want to lose the weight, write the book, start the podcast, finally stop toe dipping on our business, go to another level in our business, create a membership, do whatever. We make the decision, we start doing all the things, which is great. Maybe we hire the coach, maybe we join a mastermind, we put money on the line, we do all the stuff that like Tiffany professes that has to be done and that we know needs to be done. We follow our intuition, we're doing morning meditations, all the stuff. And then we get really pissed off when it's not happening on our timetable. And here it's already February. And I could guarantee that 99% of you listening are not where you wanted to be by February 1st. And it's irritating you. And then you're looking at other people and it's like, oh my God, they seem to be blowing it out of the water and I'm so behind and maybe I'm not cut out to do this and maybe I'm too lazy and now I'm feeling unmotivated and uninspired and now I'm going to fall further and further and further behind and my realm of possibility is getting further and further away. We have to dish that to ourselves and also surround ourselves. And to be blunt, you know that expression, it's lonely at the top? And I'm not saying like I'm at the top of anything, but that expression is so true. The more successful you get, your circle gets smaller. People get uncomfortable with it. People see your growth and either they gravitate to your growth or they're repelled by it because it casts a shadow on the things and the growth and the resistance they're having and they don't want to see it. It's like when you're going through a breakup or you're in a really bad way, the last people you want to hang around are people with sunshine boosting out of their ass who are like so in love. It's not like you're hating on them, but you just can't be around it. And this is what happens in the world of business, in the world of success. I almost said sex, but I mean, it happens there too. Happens there too. It's like, I don't want to hear about you're having amazing sex all the time if I'm not. Like, good for you, but like, I really don't need to hear about it that much. So you've got to really infuse in yourself, this is possible. This is here for me too. If it was here for Tiffany, if it was here for so-and-so, if it was John, if it was here for Sarah, it's also available for me. And we can start this at any time. There's not too many people in any industry. Just go look in your makeup drawer or your lotion and potion drawer. Guys, look in your own lotion and potion drawer or go look in your wife's or your partner's lotion and potion drawer. You will see at least 10 different brands. There is more than enough room in the beauty space for new serums, new mascara, new lotions, new blush, new concealer. And there's new ones coming on the market literally every week. And these are people who are making money. So there's more than enough room for you. But we forget if we're not managing that possibility, which is also why you come here and listen to the show, is to feed that mind, is to pour back in and to remind yourself that it really is there. Because you know I wouldn't just be blowing smoke up your ass. It's not my style whatsoever. And I need my reminders too. We just lose our mind. So I want to simplify building this personal brand from scratch. And some of you who aren't having success, but maybe you've been working on your personal brand for some time now, you need to go back to the foundation. You have a rocky foundation. You use like toothpicks and not steel beams. And maybe you were trying to cut a corner, or maybe you hired someone who like really didn't know what the hell they're doing. You hired a fantasy marketer, and I know a lot of you have, and then you've been burned by that. And then you're like, I don't want to spend any more money getting help because I've already spent money and didn't get anything. Well, now you lose twice. That's on you. I've been burned. That's part of being in business. It's part of being in the game of life. That's part of even dating. That's part of love. It's part of friendships. It sucks. It stings. No one likes it. I don't like it when I lose money. But what's your choice? To not go further, to not lean in more? If you're so focused on what you're saving and preserving, you're not in the realm of possibility. You're totally in a realm of self-protection and trying to prevent disappointment, trying to prevent money loss, trying to prevent failure, trying to prevent hurt, trying to prevent all of it. And you can't grow from that spot. Imagine a plant, like you put a seedling underground and it tells itself over and over again, oh my God, I can't come out from the ground. I could be eaten by a bobcat. I could be burned by the sun. I could be drowned by the rain. I could be attacked by ants or some kind of plant fungus. So I'm just going to stay underground. That's the same thing that you're doing. So let's simplify this. Here are the 3 main things you need to focus on to start. And I'm just talking starting because I don't want you guys to go 85 steps ahead, because that's when we future trip, we spin out and nothing happens. So the what? Determining what you'd love to get paid to do. It's not enough to be great at something. We're great at a lot of things that we don't really want to be doing that like bore us or suck our energy, but you must be borderline kind of obsessed with it. And our egos can get in the way here and kind of mess with us. Like I had a client recently and she's like, I'm so good at spreadsheets. I'm so good at creating these kinds of documents. And everyone always asks me to help them with Excel. And like, it kind of makes sense. Maybe I should do like, Excel courses for beginners and sell these courses. And when I've done these videos and stuff on YouTube, so many people watch them, but no one's paying me. And I go, are you like obsessed with Excel? I mean, which blows my mind if you are, and more power to you. She goes, no, not at all. I think it's so boring, but it just comes easy to me. And I like, the praise I get and the gratitude I get from people when I help them. I'm like, yeah, if you're not obsessed with it, you might have like a couple runs in you where you make some money and then you're going to burn out and then be resentful. So that's not it. The next thing is the who. Determine who needs what you have to teach and offer the most. So who needs it the most? Who believes they need it the most? Not who wants it, but who needs it. Because when we need something, it's I gotta have it. Oh God, that's it. I've gotta have it. Whether that's a mop, whether that's a piece of art, whether that's mindset coaching, whether it's Reiki healing, whether it's someone to help them loosen their tight muscles, they need what you have. So who would feel the most connected to your story, your personality, your communication style, your creative energy? So that flows in there as well. So I want you to think of that person. Fun hint here. The people we're meant to serve are a version of ourselves. It might be an old version. It might be a version that still lives within us now. Because like attracts like. We like people who have similarities to us. We also find people interesting who have differences. But we like people who are similar because we feel they understand us. There's a relation. You have the relatability. When you have the relatability, intimacy and trust is built faster. And therefore, people lean in and want to work with you, want to hand you their money, their time. And that connection happens faster. Just like when you meet a friend. So, someone you didn't know, but you just connect right away because you have a love of fashion. You both, hate eating vegetables, and you are obsessed with Target. And you have those common themes that you love, and you go from there on those things. And that's is like, oh my God, I knew we had to be best friends right off that. That is who your ideal client is. Third thing, the community. Pick one or two main ways people can discover you and experience what you have to offer. So select places where you already enjoy hanging out and consuming content. This is where so many people end up coming to me, whether it's in my posse, mastermind, coaching, any of my areas. And they're like, I know what I want to do. I have a pretty good idea. I think I know who my ideal client is, but I'm not like 100% sure. But I'm also not sure. Where do I find these people? Do I need to be on all of the things? No, you don't need to be on all of the things. Start with two main things. Where do you enjoy consuming content? Where do you go to get answers, inspiration, motivation? Where are you seeking? Where do you hang out on your off time? That's where your people are. And start there. Well, what do I even do? What do I even start? You just start. And I know that might annoy you when you hear that, but when I say you just start, sit there and go, what does this ideal client need to hear from me who's struggling with this issue? What would she need to hear from me today? Almost create like a role play scenario in your brain that you're having a coffee with this person, or you're sitting next to someone on a plane who's going, oh my God, I struggle with having so much anxiety. I don't want to be at my job anymore. I don't know how to get out. I'm not sure where I'm going in life. I feel like I'm 12 years old and I'm a 40-year-old woman, and I don't know what my purpose is. And I feel like I'm having a midlife crisis, and I'm drinking wine to compensate. And she's just rattling on. And she goes, what should I do? You would have something to say to her if that's your ideal client. You would have some suggestion, some advice, some counsel, some direction. You would ask her a question to have her maybe think about something or help her navigate it. That's what you start sharing and posting in your content in the places where you already consume it. And you don't have to start both of these community avenues at once. Just start with one. I started an Instagram. Then pretty quickly after, I started my podcast, and that's all I had for a long time. I didn't have a pop-in Pinterest page. I didn't start an email list until like 2.5 years in. Because if you feel you have to be on all the things and create all the content and start all the stuff, you're going to also bury yourself in all of the reasons of why this isn't possible and why this isn't doable. And then you're going to be that seedling that never grows and pops out of the earth because it's going to feel so hard and so scary and so daunting out there. Versus the seedling that's like, what's possible is I could grow into this beautiful tree and be nurtured by the sun and be able to feed the bees, and then have humans come by and acknowledge how beautiful this is and the shade it provides. And maybe they'll even name me because I end up in the home of someone named Tiffany, who ends up naming all of her plants and talks to them. That's when you grow, is when you're being pulled and when you rise. But when you keep telling yourself how hard it is and all the things you don't know, and you keep jamming and hammering that down, you stay beneath the ground, and then no one benefits. You lose, the people you could be helping lose, the universe loses. That's not God's work. That's not what's intended for you. You want to go deeper into this, you know the ways to work with me. You can swipe up. Those links are in there. Do me a favor. Go and leave a damn 5-star written podcast review if you're an Apple listener. If you don't have time right now, which you do, but if you don't want to take the time right now, just tap the 5 stars and you can come back and leave a written review. On Spotify, you can't leave a written review. You can just tap 5 stars. It takes 2 seconds. This means a lot to me in the show. This is all I'm asking in return for this. And right now, If you leave a written 5-star review on Apple, put your name or Instagram handle in the review, take a screenshot of it, and DM me on Instagram at ProjectME with Tiffany. I'm going to treat you to a luxuriating beverage of your choice for free as a way for me to say thank you for sharing your appreciation for the show and taking 45 seconds out of your day to do it. If you aren't sure how to leave a review on any platform, take a second and Google it. How do I leave an Apple podcast review? How do I leave a Spotify review? And up will pop up the very simple step-by-step instructions. And I read each and every one of them. This is what helps the show continue to grow. And guess what? It's the law of reciprocity. If you aren't showing your gratitude and appreciation, and you're not doing testimonials, you're not leaving comments, you're not sharing emails, you're not sharing freebies, you're not engaging with those creators, those people who you love and you value and you get so much out of, well, that's why you're not getting that much engagement in return. You got to really check yourself. Are you in integrity with that yourself? Or are you wanting, but not doing your part? That's why once a month, I make a point of going through all the restaurants, products, podcasts, books, and I sit and write reviews. And guess what? It takes maybe, when I do like 10 of them, like 15 minutes. And it feels so good. And guess what pours in after that? Tons of reviews, tons of beautiful messages and emails, referrals, because it's coming from the right space. It's coming from a space of service and love and appreciation for one another. Wishing you guys great health, wealth, and worth as always. Love you. If you enjoyed this podcast, please write a 5-star review on iTunes. Not only will this make me super happy, but it will allow more listeners to find our special show. Simply help me help others.